Kamusta?
Good morning, Anton.
Good
Okay
morning.
naman.
Nasa ka? Where are you broadcasting from?
Currently, like everyone else, I'm at home. So I'm in Metro Manila, Philippines.
Wow, yes. And kamusta na? How's the I know you have a Jeron Travel, di ba? Kamusta naman?
yeah. So yes, I am the president and general manager of Jeron Travel. So we do all sorts of things. We're a travel hub, whether documentation, domestic travel, international travel. We're IATA accredited, so we do ticketing as well, so on and so forth. As we all know, travel is one of the most affected industries during this pandemic. So we are not operating really just yet, no.
Um,
Yeah. However, what we're doing lang right now is we do have some local clients, foreign clients,
mhm.
uh, foreign corporates who needs assistance in either refund. Ayan, hot na topic yan.
Oo, hot na hot nga.
So a lot of refund requests, as well as for certain, of course, being foreigners living in the Philippines. Syempre, they also want to go back to their own countries. For now, that's it. Some other side projects as well that we're doing just to keep us busy, keep things a little bit more afloat. But I won't lie to you, we're bleeding. I mean, diba? We really have to take care of people in our company. And I hope, no one can really tell when this will end, but some say September,
Okay.
hopefully. Not the pandemic, ah. We're not talking about ending the pandemic. I mean, when travel can really be safely opened.
Okay, so that's our main topic for today. So we'll start. When can I travel? When can I travel, Chal? All
Uh,
right. Thank you. And we're here talking to and thank you for All right. Good morning. Good morning. Before you answer that, Chal, we like to
online.
welcome the guests or if you're watching on the replay or watching live, please join us in our discussion with Chal of Jeron Travel. My name is Anton Diaz, founder of Our Awesome Planet. So a lot of people are talking about when can I travel. Now, we know that in Manila, dine-in will officially open on Monday. So the next question is, when can I travel next? And good morning, Chal. Good morning. Maybe you can kailan ba tayo pwede mag-travel, Chal? Yun siguro, maybe, what are the factors to be considered for us, for people to be safe, to be, will be confident to safe to travel? What do you think?
Actually, it's not. It has nothing to do with the pandemic ending. No, as much as we all want it, marami kasing implications. Pag sinabi kasing travel, the travel industry, it's one of the biggest contributors, of course, to our economy. So when we say when can we travel, certain things that we know, okay, or that we are looking forward to. If we do move from GCQ to the next kind of EQ na stage, 50% of travel might be allowed, 30 to 50% of travel might be allowed. No, so I think we're all awaiting the big announcement of the government as well, either June 15 or June or next week rather. Definitely, it will be local travel first, for the simple reason that internationally, borders are still closed. Although we've heard and know of some countries who are more open and are prepared to actually take in tourists because they already have the safety measures. So they're quite more open to that, no? So when can we travel? I do hope really soon. Everyone needs it in terms of the economy. The airlines won't last, long if this goes on let's say another 2 months, 3 months, it's going to be catastrophic, I think. Travel agents, especially, even the smaller players, you have, of course, tour guides, you have si Kuya Bangkero na naghahatid from one island to another. So many people are affected, and even restaurants, because that's very much involved with travel. So we're looking around the end of June, I hope, or this mid-June, yeah, depending on the announcement. But for international travel, the biggest hunch from the travel community would probably be September, or hopefully September.
All right. Let's say hi to Chef Sao. So, ang ganda ng interview namin, ng discussion namin in Pampanga, and sabi niya, when can I travel to Paris? So, you answered September. Around
Most likely,
most
okay.
likely. So,
Hoping.
so ganito, Chal. So, assuming that it's announced na end June, domestic travel will start first. And,
Yes.
Boracay is opening up, di ba? So, is it really safe to travel via the airports? Can you share with us the new protocols? I know that airlines release their new protocols, and I know you're educating your travelers also. So, any tips?
Yeah, in terms of safety, let me first put this into premise. It's no longer really about, for me, and for a lot of people's mindset right now in terms of business or entrepreneurship. It's not really more so about just coping with COVID or waiting for the vaccine of COVID, but we have to find a way to live through this, and that's why there will be protocols, and there are already protocols. So, for example, maybe I'll move first to internationally and work down locally. So, internationally, a lot of news has been going around. People saying, and even memes coming out na space apart daw, or from one side of the airplane to another side of the airplane lang daw. Actually, IATA, which is an international body for airline and cargo, no, has released already that no, it will not do those protocols of one seat apart. And the main reason being that if we do that, it might not be cost efficient for neither the airline and the passengers. So medyo mahal yon. What it will do though, so most likely magkakatabi pa rin. Or maybe they're relying also on the fact that hindi sana puno rin yung eroplano. So what we know for sure though is a lot, and this is similar to domestic or and local aircrafts. No, so a lot of disinfecting. We know of airlines who have already local airlines who have already purchased, ionizers. These are and other expensive procedures so that every pre-flight magkakaroon ng disinfecting na mangyayari sa aircraft. Another thing or another trend that I personally experienced, because prior to our lockdown, I was in Taiwan, and the day that I arrived, there was a controversy, and the flight was stopped from Taiwan. But of course, Taiwan and China are two very different countries, so na-lift din naman at naayos yon. So I was able to still take a flight, during these times. And one of the trends that we might see is the possibility of onboard meals, maybe taking a hold or just snacks being handed out instead of a full tray meal. That's very much possible. Even on the flight that I was arriving here in Manila with, did that. I think, especially for economy passengers, it might be taken out. Also, okay, so for the domestically, the basic protocols that most airlines or all airlines will really take into consideration and really do is at an earlier check-in. They're saying around 4 hours. Some people are contesting it just because there will be a lot of protocols prior to entry. It has nothing to do with the influx of people coming in the airport. So social distancing will still be followed from X-ray, so on and so forth. But as soon as you get into the aircraft, yung mga hand carry items natin, kung dati we're allowed to bring isang bottle lang ng 100 ml. Now we're allowed to bring around, I think, 10, pero of 100 ml. Now, the reason for this is so that we can bring our own alcohols, so 10 bottles of that even. Luggage allowance for hand carries would be lessened. I mean, would be strictly followed rather. So kung 7 kilos yan, talagang 7 kilos, hindi na siya yung parang may allowance. Um, there's going to be a lot of forms, whether you're arriving or you're departing. Nothing too tedious. We're used to forms, especially for Filipinos, because of the
Ano yung
pro.
mga health declaration form, ganun?
Yeah, health declaration form and then an additional form as well, similar to the health declaration that's more specific to COVID. What countries have you been to? If you have fever currently for that, no. Um, Internationally, and we don't know yet domestically how this will be practiced. So internationally, it will depend, of course, on the state that we're entering. Some countries are already to prepare or are preparing to accept what do you call this, tourists who are actually not going to be quarantined anymore. Okay, because a lot of pre-checking will be happening already. However, some will still have those in place, but with shorter times. Because 14 days is not a vacation. You'll be stuck inside the room, diba? So it defeats the whole purpose of getting and pumping up the economy to get things started. So domestically naman, this one is still medyo shaky. Kasi Anton, sa totoo lang,
Mhm.
like, merong mga airlines na nag-announce na, oh, magsisimula na kami and, Kaap, oh, medyo na-pull back sila ni Kaap. Hoy, anong pinagsasabi nyo dyan? Teka lang. Oh, kasi we're all really just waiting for the government, also listening to their protocols. And the tricky part here is that may pagka-barangay level ang ating mga protocols, which is not bad, by the way, depending on the kung anong klaseng quarantine na ba ang isang
Oo.
lugar.
Yun
So,
nga yung actual
oo.
question, no, nila, na if US ba, are they thinking of quarantine o hindi?
Yes, it still looks like that
It's
it's
still
that. There's still certain countries that I know for sure who will be more lenient. Greece has certainly announced already na mukhang mas accepting sila sa fact na tatanggalin yung pagka-quarantine. Taiwan, I've heard, of course, wonderful news as well. Hindi naman fully tatanggal, but easier measures later on. Australia, siguro ang maganda pag-usapan dito is yung bubble travel na tinatawag.
Oh, ano yung bubble wrap? Wait, before you go there, Chef Sao has a follow-up question. Can we bring more than 100 ml of alcohol?
Yes, but in separate 100 ml bottles. O, diba? So 100 ml pa rin. It has to do with the quantity kasi pag lumampas yata ng 100 ml, that's when you're able to create, these bad things.
So maliliit. Okay.
Maliliit siya. So for girls, mas happy kami kasi yan, pwede nang, ay, may konting cologne, may konting ano. But it's really so that we as passengers also disinfect our own area. So,
Okay.
pupunasan mo rin, di ba? It's not required, but that's the thinking behind it, Pupunasan mo rin yung chair mo and so on and so forth.
O sige, bubble travel. Paano yung bubble travel? Yan.
Okay, so an idea that's been going around, on credible news sites, and it's really been talked about. But again, like as with everything in this pandemic, nothing is truly sure, no? Certain countries can tie up, and certain cities can tie up, given their level of safety and measurement towards keeping things at bay with COVID. So, for example, New Zealand and Australia is a perfect example. They've always had wonderful ties together, and it looks like yung measures nila very effective. Like New Zealand hasn't reported any new cases, local cases yet, from their hospitals for quite some number of days na. Lampas na yata ng weeks. And Australia is also, doing fairly good. So ang mangyayari doon, these two citizens or passports or countries will be the ones allowed to travel with each other. So controlled yung paglabas to particular countries. Another one that's possible is in Southeast Asia, Taiwan, possibly Vietnam, and even Hong Kong and Singapore. So these are just talks pa lang, but the term has been coined already for certain countries to be able to interchange and travel with one another on each other's territory. So
So, syempre, Philippines, hindi kasali dyan, di ba?
sabi ko nga, actually may bubble travel naman tayo.
Oh, ano?
Capital wise with China. Joke. Oo.
Hindi pwede today yan.
Exactly. Happy Independence Day, by the way, everyone.
Happy Wednesday. So, so Boracay, let's talk about quarantine. Siyempre, magbubukas Boracay. Do you get quarantined in Kalibo or Katiklan, or can you quarantine in the hotel where you are? Meaning, so you'll just be staying longer. Ganun ba yun?
Okay. So I know a lot of people have been talking and seeing ads about this, no? As a matter of fact, more than Boracay, Bohol was actually pegged as one of the, what do you call this? One of the cities or provinces and destinations that surely the flights will be open to, no, for travel. Government wise, nothing official has been really mentioned about it. Now, the reason that there's a push for this talaga is because alam naman natin kung gaano na hit ang Boracay. This is not the first time that they're hit. Just last year, 6 months nagsara ang Boracay. And I really, my heart really goes out to every entrepreneur, small business there, hotel, whether malalaking resorts, up to the smaller players, no? They're really quite, not just resilient, but talagang you really feel yung hirap na pinagdaanan nila, nakakabangon pa lang nila from the 6 months na lockdown that was imposed on them to rehabilitate the island. Ngayon naman, all of this is happening. So, in terms of measures of quarantine, there's two sides to this. Yes, there's talk na kailangan mag-quarantine, but a lot of people are also pushing against it because it would defeat the purpose of travel, of having people travel and stay and get locked in their hotels, and no one would really want that. So there will definitely be measures in the airport, like what I've mentioned, no. Since it's domestic travel, uh, I doubt and I'm sure that talagang wala yung testing na provided by the government. Unlike yung sa international travel nga na certain countries or even airlines are already incorporating it, no? Internationally, Emirates being the first one of the first airlines na talagang required kahit rapid testing lang. So going back to Boracay, it's not even a sure thing. And I want to caution people also on that, no? If I'm seeing any travel happening really, really, really soon, it's the travel by car, nearby areas. So, for example, Manila to Tagaytay, which we're actually seeing some people do already. Pa-konti-konti, nag-golf na doon or what, no? But the stay, these mini vacations that is really being pushed more. 3 days, 2 nights, overnight. But hindi muna yung, they say, hindi muna yung plane rides. And even though the plane rides do start to happen, very tricky nga. Kasi you said nga, Boracay, but because they have a very good containment there when it comes to COVID, no? And same with Bohol. In terms of land, si Baguio, sobrang galing. But will they be accepting? They will have stricter measures. Right now, Baguio also has very strict measures. And di ba nga may mga controversies na lumabas with that, with people going in them. So, I'm just cautioning people lang. Marami kasi naglabas na eh. And even the airlines and establishments have released, no? Because the rulings are still not clear. Kay IATF lang ba to? Pero syempre may CAA pa pala, may organizations pa involved, per barangay city level involvement. There are some cities that have very good COVID containment, and yet they will still remain closed. And that is for safety reasons kasi wala hospital yung mga certain provincias.
Oo.
diba? So they have to really protect their people. So tricky. This is what I told you, nga, na parang sobrang tricky because we can announce this, and there have been certain announcements already, and biglang we had to pull back because nga people's attentions were called, no. So but definitely ang mauuna talaga dyan, and the trend is already pointing to these staycations, which is good for the smaller players, for the mga mini vacations, yung mga may-ari ng mga 2 to 3 rooms or cottages or villas kung saan man in Batangas, Zambales, so on and so forth.
Yeah, Airbnb reported nga na increase of bookings after the lockdowns. So, wait, we have Meg. Say hi. Hi, Meg. Friend mo rin pala si Robbie. So, we
Robbie,
performed together during the quarantine. Payat na yan si Robbie. Lost 40 pounds today.
galing.
Payat na ni Robbie.
Robbie has also been involved. Nag-travel fair rin kami, and he's been helping us since he's also a wonderful artist, to do our musicals and all.
Oh, galing. Wait. So Archie said, yun naman yung pabalik for bubble countries or COVID-free countries like New Zealand. Pagbalik sa Manila ba, may quarantine pa rin? What's the current discussion?
Yeah, currently, the only travel that's allowed are syempre OFWs. And sa Philippines to, OFWs, essential travel. When we say essential travel is talagang dati hindi pa to allowed or hindi pa in writing, pero now it is already. Yung talaga may medical problem, or the third one is parang foreigners or Filipinos arriving back, not necessarily OFW, but repatriation nga. So parang na-stranded sila sa ibang bansa. And even here in the Philippines, I actually even have a friend that's stranded in Siargao and loves being stranded in Siargao, but there have been repatriation flights. So for these COVID-free countries like returning from Taiwan, returning from New Zealand, so on and so forth, yes, there is a quarantine requirement right now as a policy. Okay, as in ruling talaga siya. So what happens is upon arrival, you get sat down, may konting briefing, there are talks, you get tested. Supposedly you get tested, but I heard nga recently from naubusin yata si Naowa ng testers. So medyo, when you get moved to, there are accredited hotels lang, by the way. Upon your arrival, there are only accredited hotels. Before, it used to be blurry pa eh. You could stay at home, lock yourself in the room, but there are now accredited hotels and establishments where you should or where you could stay lang by DOT. Okay, and when you stay there, you take care of your own hotel accommodations. We're also servicing certain people with this. And then when you stay there, 14 days quarantine, and then you have to wait for your test results to be released. If earlier and you're negative, but it happens twice kasi the PRC, not rapid testing, so dalawang beses ka mag-test, no? And on the second time, pag negative ka ulit, or I think nag-one na rin sila. But regardless, pag naka-release na ng negative, doon ka lang pwede lumabas.
Mm-mm.
At may mga health certificate. But cautionary lang nangyayari na tumatagal dumating yung test results, so napapahaba yung stay sa hotel. Okay? It really is a true story. Oo.
Of course, you pay for the hotel, di ba? There's no subsidy.
Yes, the ones who take care are either the companies, kasi nga OFWs, or for private citizens. Yes, we do take care, unfortunately. Oo. And yeah.
Okay, next question. I'm afraid to travel because of the airports, because of the ventilation of the airport. What do you think about that? Are they doing something about the ventilation? Kasi ang dami talagang nagka-COVID because of the airports.
Actually, contrary to popular belief, and we recently had the talk with airlines and certain experts. Inside the airplane, yun yung pag-usapan natin kasi may fear din doon. Yung air conditioning daw, yun yung nakakatakot. Actually, no. It's not one of the biggest factors or the factor that really contributes to this one, and it's been proven in terms of okay, I'm not so techy, so hindi ko ma-explain yung pag-backfire ng airflow, so on and so forth. But they are saying that it is truly, truly safe, air conditioning-wise sa loob ng aeroplano. I would still caution people, though. I understand the fear, you know. I understand but I always say nga na the bigger virus right now is the fear. Although having a little bit of that is still good because it keeps you very alert, diba? Or mas careful ka. So for me, it's really more of the interaction that happens. Yes, COVID is one of the things. COVID has been really, really dramatically blown. Masakit man sabihin because of travel, you know. And the reason for that compared to other diseases before is it started and it rather than started, sorry, it really nag-peak siya. Remember, this was Chinese New Year. Uh,
Yeah.
Millions of people travel this time, not just in China, but you're talking about Singapore, Hong Kong, all of these countries na back and forth. And dikit-dikit talaga yung mga tao dyan in terms of spacing, no? So, yes, I understand the fear. What the airports are doing with your question naman, Anton, is talaga more on two things. One is just really social distancing, yung pila sa labas, yung pila sa check-in counter, and then of course the scanning, thermal scanners, pagpasok mo pa lang, and the disinfecting. So yun talaga yung magagawa ngayon ng mga airports. And same with the airlines. What the main concern with the airlines naman is the contact. Kaya nga yung food trace is for certain airlines is they have been pulled out. Even in-flight magazines, I do believe might even be on the last flight that I arrived with, tinanggal na ang in-flight magazine dahil na may contact yon. So
Mm-hmm.
yun yung mas worry or mas may sense na talagang may mangyaring in pagiging or pagpasa ng COVID. But of course, prevention is better. Meaning, bago pa makapasok ang isang tao sa eroplano, we have to make sure that they have either a health certificate to travel or whatever it is that will prove that they are okay and well and not sick.
Okay. Our friend Ivan Mandy, thanks for
Hi,
tuning in.
Ivan! Oh, okay. I love
And
Ivan.
he said, of course, with the travel restriction, it still be harder to experience a place in its full enjoyment. So sa tingin mo, this will be, sabi nga nila, a new normal, and or are we going back to the same way before? Like, like for example, ang daming pumupunta sa Ilocos, di ba, before, or even Boracay. Do you think that will be really more controlled moving forward?
Yes, there will be controls, 101%. So, yung controls na yan, I hope that they will be very careful and somewhat very vigilant about it. Dahil kung hindi, syempre gusto ko magkaroon ng influx ng travel and all of that, no? But you see, if safety and trust is broken, then it will be more, parang mas detrimental siya para sa mga tao in the travel industry. Kaya nga kami, our line in Jeron Travel is it's experience life through travel, pero social distancing muna so that we can experience life through travel later. Because if it's not safe, then masisira lang lahat ng ito. So for people, there's a tier kasi. And if I'm gonna be just a little bit scientific about it, class markets B, C, mas how do I say this? The studies are showing na medyo mas ano sila with travel, like no muna, I really can't risk anything, mahal. Remember also a lot of people are struggling financially, so parang travel is a added expense or leisure na yan for people. So yung added stress ng pag-travel, pagpila sa labas, it can really push people and say nope, hindi muna, no. But we're seeing a lot in the A market. So, or A plus, kung may ganon, market. Now, they seem to be more, in a way, no? There, of course, there will always be the careful ones. And there's also the other side of it, na medyo mas adventurous. And they're willing to go through it and spend a lot through it. So, dalawang ano yan, the travel trend that I'm seeing is for the upper market, you could have yacht rentals, talagang ibang klase na rin, no? Uh,
Oo, yes.
yeah, villa,
May
private,
islands nga daw eh. Islands eh. Ang
yes,
sabi.
islands, private villas, so on and so forth. We actually are quite prepared with this in the Philippines. Locally, may mga ganyan na rin tayo.
Oh,
For the other side of the market naman, yung mass market, like what I said, para maiwas lahat ng strict measures and protocols na ito, rather than riding a plane, sadly, ang mangyayari, and we see it coming, is a lot of people really will be opting for road trips muna.
okay. Do you think this will signal the death of a lot of travel agency? The reason I asked that before you answer is that, in the next wave, like for example, yung mga next na nagkakaroon ng infection would be gasoline station, or like in the malls now, mga service people. If we open tourism, of course it will be the tour guide, so, or even the travel agency. So what do you think about, is this the death of travel agency in general, or no?
I am in the travel agency business or travel industry, no. I highly doubt it. There are, take note though that there are certain establishments closing, certain smaller shops closing. It has a lot to do with cash flow. Like I said, I'm very transparent. We are bleeding every month. Hindi siya yung parang close lang na business, especially for us na ayata kami, and we have international protocols to follow, and procedures, and we need to pay certain fees pa rin. So we still have people, they're not really working full time, but we need to maintain pa rin the company. So why do I say that no, it's not really the death? Actually, a lot of studies have shown that because of this COVID, more people have been very thankful for travel agents because a lot of their flights have been taken care faster, way better because napuno yung airlines eh. So, yung mga refunds ng mga tao, yung pag-process ng refund, just to get hold of someone in an airline to talk about their situation. So, we really became the ally of airlines, into really servicing, giving this personalized service. I've had a lot of our clients message me even on Facebook and all and saying na ngayon naiintindihan ko na yung value ng travel agent. Remember, each country will have their own protocol. Each city, each province, each destination magkakaroon ng protocol. And you could think that you already know it all, and when you arrive there, hala, kulang pala papeles,
Oo.
wala ka palang barangay clearance, and so on and so forth. So the travel agent will be very key for those. And the reason why I'm optimistic also with it is, let's face it will take long, but once this all ends, mangangati talaga ang mga tao. We might not have business travel like it was before kasi nga nakakapag-Zoom na tayo, but leisure travel, I believe, will be even more there. The need, the crave for to be able to explore, to be able to connect humanly outdoors. That's why I'm not a believer of virtual travel that people are pushing. Although I see it, no, parang iba pa rin eh. Parang nanonood na ako ng National Geography dati pa, pero iba yung travel na nananamnam mo, na-feel mo. But of course, ang trend dyan also is hindi na yung group travel na uso para makamura like before, no? Talagang your family unit or solo travel na talaga.
How about cruise lines? What do you think about cruises? Would that
Yeah.
bounce back quickly, or I think domestic cruise should go back? No, what do you think?
Okay, actually, bago nag-quarantine, I was supposed to fly and our awesome planet was supposed to go si Abby to a cruise
In
um
London, yeah.
yes, in London, one of the biggest cruise ships, and to be launched, no? I was so excited, but then na-cancel. Okay, right now the buzz in cruise line, they are preparing. They are preparing. I think the big scare kasi that happened was that there were two big ships na nagkaroon ng infection, and then na-lockdown yung mga tao sa loob ng cruise. Now the reason for that is because this happened earlier on in the stage that people are just learning about COVID. But now that things are, we all know already what this is, what's going on. I just want to remind everyone, no biases aside, cruise ships are one of the most organized, safest places that really know how to contain these things. Even before COVID happened, nasa isip na nila ang contagious diseases. Because nga alam nila na in the cruise ship nga maraming tao. 'Di ba? Pagrasyon ng pagkain, how to do everything. It's like a mega city on its own. So, yes, cruise ships will be back. Actually, ready na internationally. Some of the cruise ships are raring to go, especially the European ones, no? Uh,
Mhm.
so I've been receiving a lot of newsletters of how they've been preparing, and they're just all on standby. Naka-on wait na lang sila.
Naka-online siya.
Yeah.
Pero I'm still scared. Madaming namatay sa mga boats eh. Wala bang mumu doon?
Anton, maraming mumu everywhere. Kahit
Ah,
hindi ay, mumu rin sila.
pero what do you think about domestic cruising? Before the lockdown, Discovery launched domestic cruises or even the small bangka. What do you think about that?
Okay. It's also a very timely topic. Let's not forget also na recently kakatigil lang ni Sun Cruises, which is a smaller version that
Oo,
ferries people back and forth from Manila to Corregidor.
corridor.
So that was really sad news, no? But I'm also hearing na somewhat might pick them up, and I really hope, kasi paano na tayo makaka-Corregidor. So yes, I've been a firm believer of these local cruises prior pa to all of this happening, simply because we're an island, or I mean, we're a country that are full of islands, 7,600 more or less islands, depending kung high tide or low tide nga, di ba? So it just makes sense to do these tours rather than jumping from one hub of plane or airport, but using our beautiful waterways. Do I see them coming back really soon? Because they are smaller, they have more control over capacity of people and keeping it into a small number to keep it safe. However, it might not be viable. Kasi nga, the less people you have to cover for the expense, yung gas and all the manning of it, no? So this one is still yet to be seen.
Yeah. Wow. That's let's see, no? It would be interesting to see how that would happen. But tama ka, at least for domestic tourism, it's the road trips. In Europe, it's the RVs yung
Yes,
sikat.
correct.
Pero wala tayong RV dito, no? Hindi uso ang RV
Hindi uso sa Pinoy ang RV.
or RV park. There's no RV
There's
parks.
nowhere to. Yeah, exactly. Tama ka dyan. But even so, no, to be honest, let's say right now, Jeron Travel, we're taking in already bookings for the farm at San Benito has already opened. Now, simply because, I will caution people, for medical reasons. So, kung meron kang mga pre-existing ailments at you need that extra care, the farm has always been equipped. And this is in, of course, Batangas. What do you call this? San Benito, okay? So, the farm at San Benito, the farm has always been equipped to handle these cases, whether anxieties or pre-existing diseases like diabetes, so on and so forth. You can stay in their establishment, maybe 3 days, 2 nights, or even longer. Be taken care of, be closer to nature, and and just be more relaxed there. It is happening. They're the first one to be allowed kasi nga they have that medical side in them. So this is the trend that I'm also seeing, the smaller boutique, um, barefoot luxury nga yung word for that na opening here and there.
Yeah. No, nurture wellness rin yata. Open na rin for health stuff.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Oh, wow. Okay.
No. Now, question. Let's moving forward. Now, I know people are planning travel trips as early as now. Of course, maybe not in September, maybe next year. And the list in our mind are the travel or COVID-free destinations. So we mentioned, ano ba yung mga COVID-free or those who are able to handle it well? I think that's Taiwan, no? New Zealand, Australia. Sino pa ba? Japan? Would you think Japan?
Okay. Siyempre, I will agree with you, Taiwan. Jeron Travel is known to be best in Taiwan. Actually, just a little trivia, no? I've been hearing na even with our OFWs, they're very much prepared to take in and take care of them and bring them in already. So hooray for Taiwan. Vietnam, let's not forget, is also doing wonderful. I mentioned Greece earlier on. There are some European countries na sobrang open-minded and really willing to take out all the quarantine para lang makapasok ang mga turista at maalagaan nila, or iba lang talaga yung strategy nila, when it comes to fighting COVID. So Greece, I'm seeing also, we've heard a lot of talk about that. Japan, siguro I'm here, a lot of people, di ba una-uso nga ang fake news na libre daw ang travel to Japan or isu-sponsor ng Japan pag nag-travel ka. Actually, I have syempre we have partners in Japan, and the real news with that is that locally, the government is pushing for local travel. So the taking care of certain amount of their travels are for the Japanese. So hindi pa siya available for now for tourists later on. But yes, Japan, as we speak right now, Anton, Hong Kong is already opening, I think, Ocean Park by next week. Ocean Park na una. Bukas na ang Shanghai Disneyland, but
Hong Kong.
I don't think China will be in our itinerary anytime soon. No, even if they've kind of really, I'll have to give it to them. They really were able to take care of this pandemic in a sense, in a sense na sobrang laki nagburst sa kanila at na ayos nila. Tayo na ang isa sa pinakamahabang lockdown. So that's where I'm giving it to them. So we're not seeing that. So Japan, yes. Hong Kong is actually very much prepared. As a matter of fact, even Australia, some airlines in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, are already also opening that you can pass through them to go to another country. Kasi nga, like Taiwan right now, kahit na very safe siya and all, hindi pwede gamitin yung Taiwan airline to go to the US. So yung magpa-pass through or what, no, layover. So, hindi pa yon. So, kaya even pagpili ng airlines, we have to be careful. Oo nga, pwede pumasok sa bansa, pero may stopover or layover naman yung flight mo, and some countries are not allowing that still. New Zealand, very much so. They've also done really, really, really well. But closer, huh? If you want to think of safety, there's Singapore, there's Hong Kong. I know a lot of things are going on with Hong Kong.
Korea. How about Korea?
Yes, Korea is also doing really, really well, but I really haven't heard any news yet about openness for tourists. But yes, if we're talking about safety, syempre Korea, Taiwan, and Vietnam, they've done wonderful jobs. Singapore also, let's not forget our neighboring countries and Singapore, and then of course there is Japan, Indonesia, and like Bali nga, we're still very unsure on how they're doing, huh?
Oh, how about Bali? Ang namin nakaplan for Bali this summer eh.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure with their numbers nga kasi nga they're very pushy with tourism, and they're one of the last countries nga that really took the measures in terms of for mga Bali. Kasi maraming foreigners doon eh, and syempre iba rin yung mindset nila. So parang hindi pa. Parang nasa same levels tayo with them. Only tayo naka-lockdown ng todo.
Okay yan. I think the mga island destinations nga would be nice, no? Like Iya in Greece or yun nga, mga Bali sana, no? Kasi I love outdoors eh. I think as long as you're outdoor, social distancing, I think that will work out. Ano ba bang nearby? Yun na, halos, no?
Yeah.
How about Olympics? Is Olympics on in 2021? Are you planning for Olympics travel ba?
Okay, so we were planning for Olympics travel this year. We were already getting to it. Tickets are really hard to come by kasi locals muna ang binigyan. And actually, a lot of people in the travel industry really depended heavily on the Olympics as hope. Meaning, habang may Olympics pa, may hope. Kasi remember, natanggal ang Chinese New Year, one of the peak seasons. Tapos tinanggal ang Holy Week. And then, na-cancel ang Olympics. And then, that's when it dawns into you na, eto na talaga. Goodbye na talaga, guys. Okay? So, there were talks that 2021, but it looks like it could still be moved, but in hopes nga that Japan will still do it. No, I just wanna create lang and fix and clarify lang a certain mindset. There are still things happening around the world. Like for example, see Taiwan, there was a baseball. They're known for their sport, baseball, and there was a baseball match, a big match that happened. Wala nga lang audience. Or I know that the NBA nga might even take place. No, wala nga lang siguro audience. But later on, we will really have to learn how to live with it. Okay, not fight against it lang, but live with it too. Na okay, may COVID nga, pero how do we handle it para tumuloy pa rin ang buhay. So, Olympics will happen. Definitely, you cannot take that out. Ang laki ng ginastos ng Japan dyan. And ang dami rin nilang losses. And I do commend them that, safety muna ang inisip nila. It will happen. And when it happens, it will be the sign of hope for everyone.
All right. So can we have a photo lang muna for the thumbnail of this video?
Yes!
Okay.
Sayang wala kang mask.
Okay lang. Okay, 1, 2. One more. Solo. All right. 1, 2. Nice. One more setup. Yeah. 1. All right. So let's thank you, Chal, for answering all the questions. Ang galing, I know that you're my trusted travel agent talaga. So to close, maybe final thoughts and answer the question, when will you travel?
When will I travel muna? When will I travel? As soon as possible. So I'm with that 1 or 2% now willing to dare and be adventurous. Not because I'm not safe, but like what I said, kakagaling ko lang nga sa Taiwan when this all happened, and I just flew in and I saw that people are able to move around. They don't have a lockdown, and it's because of how they contained it. So I think it's really going back to basics, being outdoors, like what you said, Anton, having nature, and being careful, washing your hands. Yeah, small but really makes an impact. Wearing a mask, so on and so forth. So yes, I will travel as soon as possible. As a matter of fact, I am scheduled to fix certain passports and thinking of which ticket na. Definitely, it will be Taiwan first. One of my first loves. And as you know, Jeron Travel nga, #best in Taiwan. And I see that it's safe. Message is to everyone out there. There's a joke going on. No airplane, no business for us in the travel industry. So we're really rallying for safety muna before anything else para, to see us through. And also for travel to begin, hopefully, kahit 30% or 50% to be allowed nga. My message na lang is to people out there, support local businesses. So yes, support local restaurants. Yes, support little shops, little stores. Do know also to support your local travel agent because they could really be a blessing in disguise as well. We as travel agents are here to be of service. We've been bringing people back, pati mga OFW, so on and so forth, helping out really in the process, in the refund. So now is the time to really show your support, and it will be worth your money to have that ease as well. So follow us. That's at Jeron Travel on Instagram and on Facebook. We're still very much active as well. And me too, at Chal Chang on Instagram. Thank you so much, Anton. And I really do hope, alam mo, Anton, every time nakakakita ako ng aeroplano, oh my God, I tear up. When I look up in the sky, kahit na 12 midnight at may makita ako, kahit alam kong repatriation flight lang yon, it really brings hope. And I think travel will be a sign of hope for everyone na, things are slowly getting better. Kaya nga huli siya nangyayari kasi nga hindi pa tayo better. So, so once we see that happening, that is a real sign of hope.
All right. With that, thank you. Saying hi to Brian also. Good morning.
Hey, Brian.
And thank you, Chal. Thank you. All right. Thank you. And we're here talking to thank you for talking to All right. So, kailan tayo pupunta ng Taiwan? Kailan ang fun Taiwan? Fun and safe Taiwan natin. Kailan yan?
February. Go na tayo. No, but I'm really actually planning to go. Actually, I can fly na. Di ba I have a Taiwan passport? So,
ano pala? What's the rule for you? Oo nga.
I can fly in, and pero I will really have to be quarantined. No, I'm really looking to also fly because I need to fix certain things and to decide rin. Actually, alam mo, Anton, pumasok na talaga sa utak ko is paaralin na yung mga bata doon for 1 year.
Talaga?
If you think, if you think about it, uh, they're not quarantined there. Nakakaikot sila. Normal ang buhay. And there's a site you should watch it. Filipinos studying in Taiwan in Facebook. It's a group of all the universities. Ang rami may mga sponsorship programs. Ang bait ng Taiwan sa Pilipino, in fairness.
Talaga? Eh, paano kung ako Filipino, I want my kids to study there? Mas mahirap pa?
No, there are programs. Kaya nga, I posted it on my Facebook. Ako, naka 100 likes nga kaagad. Parang, gusto ko niyan. Pati after studies. And meron pa silang sponsorship program. And these are all different universities coming together. And let's say kahit yung OFW na Pilipino, ready na ng Taiwan will take care of their accommodation and their food para sa quarantine.
Wow, ang galing ah.
Grabe talaga. In fairness. So,
no, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Matingnan nga. Kamusta pala yung di ba you do event, wala na rin yung mga events, di ba? Mga event, tourism.
Well, I do, walang MICE ngayon. Sarado na talaga. Although may mga ganyan, pa Zoom. Kahit kami, ano na rin kami, meron kaming Jeron University. So, kakaibang klase. So, we have that on Facebook also. So, wala. But yan, nag-move on rin kami sa workshops. So, we have workshops na rin. Tied up pa rin in terms of travel. Our last one kasi, our partner is Pulilan Farms. Dati pa to, bago pa mag-quarantine, agri-tours na partner namin sila. So, nung nag-close down, we helped each other. We did an online paying workshop for farming. And then we helped them.
How was that?
We had mga 10, not bad, 10 attendants.
Okay.
And we just promoted 2 days before.
Before.
Parang last minute lang siya. So, uulitin namin. Siguro, I'll let you know, we might have our South Africa partners to talk about kids safari. So,
wow. Okay.
So, mga ganyan. We're all trying to survive.
But did you pivot out of travel or everything is around travel pa rin?
No, we did. So we did, like right now we're providing, magkasama na rin naman siya before, ever since before we've been doing Forex for our foreign clients, foreign exchange. So right now meron kaming digital platform. We do pera padala because the same platform that we use for foreign exchange does pera padala. So let's say sa buong barangay ng Magallanes, ako ngayon ang number 1 puntahan ng mga kasambahay for their padala sa Buena Lulier or what, Pero it's on a digital platform. So, we're also, the same platform rin, may mga nagpo-forex sa amin. That's one. Nagbenta rin kami ng organic brown rice ng farm nga ng Pulilan. So, we help them with it. And soil even. Basta, we can still correlate it to travel, meaning may kwento pa rin. Like, they used to be our partners in agri-tours. Nagbenta rin kami ng Persian food, Japanese food, or travel by taste. So, I haven't cut down anyone. That's why I'm bleeding, Kasi, but,
so, hindi ka nag-cut down? Hindi ka nag-furlough or whatever?
Not yet. But, however, by July, parang we will need to. But this month, our focus is to teach them how to do entrepreneurship. And how to give them. Yeah, we're already teaching. And binibigyan namin siya ng sideline. Like yung sa food industry kay VR, gagawin ko silang resellers para kumita sila on their own, and then we let them go. I mean, if we let go na, at least we did our part. Hindi lang namin iniwan sa ere, Pero I didn't think, I mean, I knew it would last long, pero grabe na. I mean, we really are bleeding so much.
I think travel is the hardest hit than restaurants, no?
Oo naman. Ang restaurant nakaka-survive. Sabi nga ng isang Indian kong friend na travel agent din, no airplane, no business. So you look up to the sky. Wala aeroplano, wala. Di, nga na lang muna tayo. There have been people who shut down na, But I also believe the government won't make it last because pag na-hit ang airlines, that will be nothing good sa economy yun. It will not be a good sign. That's why nga, di ba, may mga, yung willing to boost ang some governments and put in millions, billions just for airlines.
Oo nga.
They signify health of economy. We'll
Yeah.
see. They say may stimulus package daw yung mga travel agents, but hindi na rin ako umaasa, Anton.
Pero yung airline, tama kay airlines. In the US, they bailed out, di ba, yung mga Delta Airlines. But here in the Philippines, I'm not sure sana, ano nila, I know Philippine Airlines have problems before COVID, tapos nag-COVID pa. So, but tama ka, dapat yung airlines need to be saved talaga.
But they are alive, ha? Like, contrary, ang rami kasing fake news na nagsasabi ng airline. Buhay na buhay sila. Like Anna has transformed all their passenger seats to cargo seats. Imbis na tao nakaupo, parcels na, mga boxes na.
Oo. Sa bagay, dumami nga, no?
Cargo sila. Buhay. Kaya nga sabi ko, buti pa sila buhay. Kami talaga, wala. Meron nga isang travel agency, nag-announce lang na bukas sila. Binigyan sila ng warning because under the rulings of IATF, bawal pa talaga magbukas. But they're like, how do we survive? Ganyan. But I heard already Secretary Ramon, Lopez say na once magkaroon ng, ano ba after ng GCQ?
Modified
GCQ. MEGCQ naman. Pag nag-MGCQ na, 50% will be allowed to open capacity of hotels, of travel agents going to work. It will not really help, but at least, diba? At least, mabuhay ng konti. Yun lang.
Alright. Okay naman. So, our awesome planet, we focus restaurants and travel. So, affected din kami. Because kung walang advertising, wala rin kami. But it's interesting. But because of the innovation, there's a lot of innovation happening in the space. And I'm excited because before, the travel destinations are not digital savvy, ganyan. And ngayon, lahat sila, you can now talk to them, start talking to a lot of these places. So, I don't know. We'll see.
We're doing, the first virtual expo with Enderon, DOT, happening on September. I will definitely let our awesome planet know.
Ano yan? Travel fair, online travel fair?
Yeah, yung virtual talaga, yung meron kang, ano tawag din yung Sims. So, meron kang, so it's being done na abroad. Pero mahal ang platform ng mga yun, ha? So, and then nakakapag-
Under whose company? Under Jeron or under the Travel Association?
Enderon and Jeron partnered with it. So, we'll start selling it hopefully. But of course, I'll let our awesome planet become a media partner para the name out there pa rin. And then, of course, all of this. We'll see if it works. Hopefully, it does. Now is the right time to experiment naman for us. Diba? No one is saying no, Anton. Ang kagandahan nito is, sabi ko nga kay VR, ang kagandahan nito is, kahit kanino ka kumatok, ngayon mas nakikinig na sila. Kahit hindiin ka nila.
Yes, exactly.
Akala mo dati hindi ka kakausapin. Ngayon, or everyone is reachable virtually.
Okay.
VR is doing good.
Which one?
Si VR is doing good.
Really?
You should talk to them.
Oh, I should talk to them. Okay. That's good. That's good.
They nag-pivot na rin sila talaga.
May comment ang asawa ko.
I love you,
sa Taiwan.
Sa Taiwan na raw.
Mura ba? Mura bang education sa Taiwan?
Oh, syempre, it's very good and it's free for the citizens. Kaya nga gusto ko sila pa citizen na eh. But we have to stay there for 1 year.
Let's say ako, gusto ko
Yeah. It's nothing crazy. Like, hindi siya parang US or what, no? You really should consider it. My tip to you is yung scholarship. There is a scholarship program with TECO, and they really send people for free every year to study in
Talaga
Taiwan.
pwedeng 4 na anak, gano'n?
Pag nagawa niyo yan, Rich and Anton, oh my God, 4. But yeah, they really sponsor. And guess what? May stipend pa.
Oo nga.
Grabe
and then we can run our business there naman. Why not?
Alam mo, grabe sila. And their tourism is inbound there is doing great pa rin. Grabe sila. Kaya nga sabi ko, natin sa atin na lang. Dikit tayo ng dikit kay China. Itong si Taiwan, they're so giving to us, they're so loving and all, and they really take care of our well-being. If an OFW works in Taiwan, they have the same rights as the Taiwanese. Pantay ang sweldo, ang minimum wage.
Mhm.
Inaalagaan talaga nila. Maayos.
Wow, galing. I think that's the best news for today. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, i-check nyo na yan ni Rach, ha?
I-check na namin bago dumami yung applications. All right, thank you. Thank you, Shal.
Happy to be in touch with you, Anton.
Thank you,
Good
thank
luck, good
you.
luck. Good luck to us. Stay
Yes,
strong.
you, especially you also. So, thank you, thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.